This is a Spoon TV original.
Yo, you already know, man, this is the first episode of the Tokyo-ish podcast featuring whoever the hell I want. And today, who I'm featuring, my good brother Eryykk. Eryykk, what is your name again? I'm sorry. Cyree. Eryykk Cyree.
That's right.
And we have the wonderful Issa here. Now, this is a young lady that I just met, and she's new to the podcasting world, so hopefully that I could give her a few gems, and hopefully she could have a career, she could prosper at it. So, I want to ask you how y'all guys feeling today?
Feeling blessed. I'm super excited to be here right now.
All right, thank you, and I appreciate that. And how you
I'm
feeling?
wonderful. I'm wonderful. Yeah, I'm wonderful.
Wonderful. For you guys being on my first episode, man, we gotta pop these babies open.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So, oh my God.
Yeah, she's a naughty. That's a naughty one right there. She's naughty. Yeah, I always get the naughty one.
Yeah, always. My pants is over, baby.
That's what happened.
Hey, yo, brother, I got a straw for you.
Thank you.
All right, Issa, now please don't swirl all over me. Please. I would appreciate that.
I can't make any promises.
All right. That's what I like to hear. All right.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know that these herbs are?
Oh, okay,
All
so
legit.
I'll go for me. This is for me. Now, this brother is way more educated on this topic than myself, but for me, I just try to go with food sources that I trust. So, of course, I'm a big advocate for Whole Foods Market. Now I say this now. Now, of course, they could lie about where they got their stuff from, of course, but I feel like there's truly no way to know for sure unless you're growing the shit for yourself. But I guess you just got to rely with food chains that's, just reliable. So like I said, I go to Whole Foods markets. I go to places that this brother puts me onto, the Jamaican spots, the spots where, I feel good about. Mm-hmm. Nah, not no shit like GNC. Nah, we not fucking with those boys over there. Right. Y'all understand me? So, so how about you though?
Well, I usually would, the way I would know is by going to places like that are catered to the Caribbean market.
Right.
Or even the Asian market. You could even go to Chinatown and you find that they have certain indigenous herbs to their particular region, certain even mushrooms and stuff like that are not GMO or hybrids of some crossbreeding between different species. They're the original plant. So when you go into certain markets, even Ecuadorian or Mexican stores and stuff like that, you can go in a Mexican supermarket and you could get something like yerba sante, which is a respiratory herb and stuff like that, and that's indigenous to Mexico and even California, Arizona, and these places.
Okay, so this herb grows in North America, which continent?
Which is even better. So,
right.
And then you got something like dandelion that people walk past in Prospect Park or a lot of these parks, Central Park and stuff like that,
right.
that grows, with yellow flowers and stuff like that. And it's good for your immunity, and it's not tampered with. You could pick it yourself. I mean, in the park, it's a little questionable.
Right, because
they might spray it or something like that.
They might spray it. People might pee on the shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The rule is when you're foraging locally, you want to go somewhere where it's further away from the public people or roadways. You don't want to get something that's close to the roadway, to a highway, because the plants absorb the lead and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And the fuel. So you got to go a little further away from the immediate populace, and you can forage and stuff like that.
So what do you recommend? You recommend like national parks and...
Yeah, like places like that, national parks.
Right.
Or, like I said, even mentioning like the Asian community, like specifically I see Chinese people doing it. They know certain herbs, wild herbs. They go, and I've seen them myself, even in New Hampshire, pick them because they know, like, this is organic. This is not sprayed. Nobody's bothering. It's not near a park. It's not around some residential building where the super is spraying it. So it's safe. You know, it's the same thing with people from Jamaican communities. They know, like the Rastas, they know certain wild herbs that are here. You know what I mean? That you could pick up or whatever. But for the most part, too, you go to those herbal stores that cater to the Jamaican market, or you can even go in the Dominican community.
Right.
Go into their grocery stores, and they got a little herb section usually. Usually they'll have little herbs in a pack or something like that.
So let me ask you this though. So
Right.
there's so many outlets and there's so many places where people can go to pick up, great herbs. Now I want to ask you to tell the people where to stay the hell away from. Where to stay away? Yes.
For herbs?
For herbs or any health products.
Well, you don't want to go in places where they heavily are processed. Like when they come to you like powders, because you don't know what percentage of the herb is in there, or tinctures and stuff like that. It might be more alcohol than the actual herb, because they're stretching it a lot of times, so it may not be 100% with that. So like GNC, these places like that, the Vitamin Shop, places like that. Dwayne Reed, it's like if you got an emergency, like for example, you could go to Dwayne Reed, Rite Aid, CVS. If you might have gum problems, you can get some clove oil from there, rub it on your gums, and it'll help with the pain. So they do have certain things you can extrapolate from it. You know,
I'm good, bro.
I know, I get it, but you gotta remember we're in this environment where it's not like.
There are less and less of those mom and pop.
Right,
Mexican
exactly.
supermarket.
So we gotta pull from where we can. So I'm not gonna throw all of them, out the window, throw them in the trash. You go to Whole Foods, you can find certain things there.
Absolutely.
You go to Trader Joe's.
God.
I'm serious. You could go to Target. You could go to Target and go in the tea aisle, and they got certain tea brands like chamomile.
The teas are phenomenal. No,
Right.
I give them that. The teas are phenomenal at these markets or Trader Joe's. And where else you said?
Target.
Can we get closer to the mic, please?
For like tea or something like that, like if you want to get some tea bags or whatever,
Right.
boxes of tea, you can get that from Target. Where else? Walgreens, these places like that. What other supermarket I would say? Food Bazaar.
Food Bazaar. Now,
Bazaar
let me,
is real good.
Food Bazaar is
let me tell y'all something about Food
Bazaar
Bazaar.
is real good. Food Bazaar is real good.
I went there for the first time the other day, at least the one in Queens, and I was blown away, man. It's just, they even have aisles for different ethnicities. You know what I'm saying? They got the Mexican, the North Korean. Yeah. I'm like, damn, I didn't even know North Korean had indigenous food like that.
They do, yeah. And same thing if you go to Chinatown, you can find a lot of good quality stuff, good quality fruits that you want. You can find mangosteen. Like,
what the hell is that?
That's a fruit that grows in Asia, maybe like Thailand. I'm not sure if it grows in China, but it grows in Asia, and it's high in vitamin C and stuff like that. You could get that from Chinatown. You could get jackfruit, fresh jackfruit, for like a little container for like $3. It's fresh. It tastes like real jackfruit. It is real jackfruit, and so it's a good quality. So you could find stuff in Chinatown. These areas where you find, pockets of different ethnic groups, like, the Chinese or people from Thailand, Mexico, Jamaica.
Or Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Oh, yeah.
Rochester, that whole
The
area.
spice stores that they have. Yo, my G.
Bangladesh?
Yeah, Bangladesh, yeah. They usually have, or sometimes even where it's like a area where it's like, let's say Nigerians, people from like Ghana and stuff like that. They got their little African market store. You can find stuff in there. You just got to look, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be afraid to go just because you're not that particular ethnic group. You got to go. Your dollar, everybody takes the green.
Absolutely.
So it don't matter what color,
Absolutely.
what your background
Absolutely.
is. You go up in there with pride and just spend your money.
That's a fact.
I'm in
Money
here to
talks.
get the goods.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So I want to ask the both of y'all, what type of healthy meals y'all cooking?
Okay.
So, last night, actually, I made mashed sweet potato with coconut curry chickpeas sauce.
Okay. Mashed sweet potato with coconut curry chickpeas. All right. How long you been cooking?
So a little good.
Since you're a little kid. Nah, but some people, first First
Well,
of all,
yeah, it's
first
rare.
of all,
It's a
some
rare
people
car.
learn.
Like, you
Yeah,
grow
no,
up, like,
don't,
with
don't.
your mom in the kitchen. You always spend time.
Issa,
You
don't
spend-
do
you go to
that.
your grandma's house. You always in the kitchen with her. Like,
Right.
First of all, Issa, don't do that because there's plenty of women that don't cook.
I-
And they don't know how to. So
know that.
she
She know
know you know
I
that.
have a kid, so I have to cook.
Right, you
What?
gotta
If I
cook.
don't, if I don't cook, then he doesn't eat. Like,
Right. Okay.
You
so
having a-
You're not one of them moms that be like,
Nah.
oh, microwave dinner or
Yeah, you know
McDonald's.
damn well there's some
but
moms like that.
2-year-olds, 3-year-olds,
Yeah, some
Hell
moms like that.
yeah.
you
There's
can't
some-
give babies that.
Right, you're not supposed to, but people do.
Their digestive system, like,
It's not
They can't even
developed.
handle that.
Right.
yeah.
They can't even handle that, man.
Yeah, it's better off the soft stuff, mashed up,
So E, what do you cook though?
Me? I'm
Yes.
I'm not going to front like I'm a cooker. I eat out a lot, but I try to go to places where
Yeah, and I've been getting on him about that, man.
cook-
Stop fucking with these restaurants all the time,
they home
man.
cooked places. I go to Ethiopian restaurants.
I understand. I understand,
I
but
go
still,
to Spanish restaurants.
slow down with the motherfuckers.
No,
I understand,
I know,
man.
I know, and I
Slow
eat
down,
a lot of
man.
salads. And if I
But
don't,
you're supporting black-owned business as well.
I am. I'm supporting.
First of all,
I
he
am.
does. No, he does. He
am.
about it, but he fuck with the other ethnics too. He took me to a phenomenal restaurant. What was there was
Which one?
you took me to it started with an N.
Start with that. Oh, Nafista.
Nafista.
Turkish
spot.
Turkish-
Phenomenal
Turkish
vegan spot.
Yeah. They
In
are,
Brooklyn or Queens?
they got a location in Brooklyn now, but it was the one I took them to was on McDougal in Manhattan,
Okay.
between Bleecker and
So
what's that?
what is that? NoHo or what is that? I don't know what that area is, but
Something like that. But yeah, if I'm making something for myself though, I probably make like a hemp seed milk, those kind of things like that, something easy and quick. Or if I'm going to cook, it'd probably be something like she said, some curry chickpea with some sweet potatoes and some greens or something like that. Those kind of meals or whatever. Especially if I'm in a workout kind of.
right.
Because the sweet potato is good if you getting into working out. The chickpeas too, especially the sweet potatoes because they got natural plant sterols in it that's similar to what they call steroids, but these are not synthetic steroids.
Right.
So it helps build muscle mass. They're builders. So when I'm in that zone, I eat, the provisions, as Jamaican people would say, the ground food.
Yes,
get
absolutely,
the ground food.
absolutely, absolutely. Now,
I'm doing these coconuts. You know what I mean? Like you see, I buy a case of them. Now I be zoning on this.
I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that in a second though. But I'm gonna answer for me. You already know salads. I'm the salad king, man. I done made many type of salads with fruit in them, fish, all types of vegetables.
Do you make your own salad dressing?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
That's what's up.
I be looking up recipes on YouTube all day. I'm one of those.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm one of those. All day I'm looking up recipes on YouTube.
Right.
Of course, I try to make them healthy as possible. Because even when I'm not, because right now I'm doing the and I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into that too. I'm gonna talk about my cleanse right now in a second. But typically I would try to make the dressings as healthy as possible. You know what I'm saying? But even when I'm on my regular diet, I do eat some bad things. Eryk be seeing me. I be eating some of the shrimp sometimes. I gotta do better.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when you know you're doing bad, that's when you're doing good. Somebody told me that, and I'll never forget that. So I eat the shrimp. Before I even started my cleanse, I had shrimp with grits with cheese too, and that shit tasted so good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
I
my
had
God.
that at a restaurant in Harlem. I think it's Chocolat in Harlem. They make a shrimp grits plate that's
Oh, Lord.
phenomenal. I don't even like grits, but when I had it from there, it was amazing.
good,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now when you do eat grits, what you putting in it?
I don't like.
She don't like grits.
All right,
even-
but if you did decide to consume it.
She probably wanted that way that you had it, right?
Yeah, that same way.
Exactly.
With the
So
cheese.
before that, you never not at all. Not eat.
Farina, oatmeal,
It's not your thing?
but not grits.
Oh, for real.
Yeah.
You'll do that. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, oatmeal's cool. I like it
Oatmeal's
cold.
good, yeah. I like oatmeal. Either way for me.
I like it cold with a lot of
I
salt.
prefer
in
it hot, though. I prefer
Oh, you prefer it hot?
Yeah.
With some peanut butter?
Oh, yeah.
Peanut butter?
Oh, man.
What?
Never heard of it.
If you
Oatmeal,
with
peanut butter in the morning?
Yeah. That'll hold you for
Hold
several
you
hours.
for yes.
All right, so
Bang
how?
for your buck.
Hold on, man. Hold on.
Exactly.
So all right, so the oatmeal
Yeah.
and peanut butter. How in the hell? How the hell y'all doing that?
Well,
You put
yeah.
the peanut butter in the milk and you let it melt and just put
Right.
the oatmeal in.
Yeah, it's added to it,
Stir it,
and
yep.
you're good to go. You know what I mean? And
Throw some raisins in there.
yeah, throw some raisins
yeah.
or banana, whatever you want to do.
Afghan raisins. Eryk
Oh
put me
yeah, the
on.
Afghan
What are
raisins.
Afghan raisins?
Afghan raisins is the only one so
I'm
far.
gonna
that
go
I-
food shopping with y'all.
Yeah, now you
man.
need to.
Oh yeah, you need to.
Yeah, you
got-
need to.
That needs to be a trip.
No, especially this guy,
Oh,
because
yeah,
this
you
guy
need to, yeah.
taught me so much.
Yeah, there's this herb and spice store that you mentioned, Bangladesh, right? It's on First Ave, and they have a herb and spice stores. They got one in Brooklyn too, but the original one is on First Avenue between 5th and 6th Street. They got damn near every spice, every grain.
Issa, this man took me to that
Every-
store.
I need to go.
I felt like I was in Toys R Us though, but like a healthy Toys R Us.
You gonna,
Like-
you see how when you was
Like for real though, like for real.
You see how when you was walking, you was looking at the pictures and stuff like that. You're gonna be like that in there because it's gonna be so much to see. It's gonna keep you wanting. You gonna want to stay.
Shit, I never even seen before. I seen soap. Was it Dr. No, it wasn't Dr. Bronner's, but
They had
it
a
was
whole nother
soap
brand. Yeah, they had
with
different.
fucking activated charcoal in it.
Yeah, they had activated charcoal.
It was liquid soap with activated charcoal. Never seen nothing like that.
They got copper tongue scrapers in there. They got imported beers if you into that from different countries and stuff like that, even from Africa. They got different kind of grains, all kind of beans that you never even seen before. You know, we're like a chickpea nation here. You know, they got beans in there that to blow your mind. Like, you know what I mean? From small to large, different colors and spices and what
It's
else?
beautiful.
Oils and
Beautiful.
everything.
God.
Incense sticks.
Yeah, I got the body oils. You know.
You
They
smell
got-
amazing. You,
Oh, thank-
you smell amazing
Thank
from
you.
the elevator.
Yeah,
I was just
thank you.
Boom.
Thank you. You know what I mean?
Is that what you got from the place?
Hell yeah, that black
Wow.
joint.
Y'all
Yeah.
take, somebody's taking me. I'm going.
I got you. We got you,
Seriously.
man. We gonna take you shopping.
Indeed.
Know what I'm
They got
saying?
incense in there,
Yeah.
everything. You gotta see it.
Incense.
You gotta
What's
see
it called? What's it called?
It's called a dual specialty.
Dual specialty. Dual?
Dual specialty. DUAL specialty.
Okay, like Yu-Gi-Oh, like dual.
Dual,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, and they cool too. Is you know, 'cause, you know, sometimes we go in the store. You know, you black. They be watching.
Yeah, they be
you.
following you around.
Not in this store. They just whatever.
cool.
How you doing, brother?
First of all, they probably surprised as hell to see us in there.
Well, yeah. I mean, me, they used to see me.
Oh, well, yeah, you, of course.
But yeah, they. Yeah,
But you know,
at first,
people
at
in our
first.
community not
At
eating
first,
right,
at
man.
first,
They
yeah,
not
at
eating
first,
right, man.
At first, yeah.
That's why these motherfuckers are so scared of COVID-19. Oh my God.
Right.
Yo,
Another
just-
place you got to stay out of too, because you mentioned where should we stay out is McDonald's, is the fast food place.
Oh, well, yeah, but those are the obvious.
It's not
But
obvious
even
to some
Yes,
people.
it is.
Like,
Not to some people.
Shit.
it's like you could say stop eating fast food, right?
Right.
But then even our like staple home food, like rice,
Yeah.
beans, chicken, the whole like soul food,
Yeah, all that stuff is
shebang,
garbage
right?
too, right?
right? But we think that's home food, so because it's not street food, that's good food, and even
Right.
that is something that needs to shift.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And really understanding what is healthy home food.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? I think people are slowly starting to wake because the plant-based diet is becoming more mainstream.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
I don't
it
know
is-
if
it is
that's a good
mainstream.
or bad thing because even the ethics there is questionable from certain food chains. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though it's not meat, they still injecting it with a lot of fuckery. All this goddamn soy and you know what I mean? It's just
Chemicals.
all these
Yeah.
chemicals. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not meat, but at the same time, it's still not good for the temple though. The stuff that
Right.
they're giving us.
Yeah, and it does the same thing, as you was breaking down how the vaccine causes your immune system to go in this hyper state, right? Some of the preservatives and the chemicals in there does the same thing to your immune system because it's also a virus. And when you look at even the word virus, right, the etymology of it, the origin of the word is a poison. So these chemicals, a lot of them are poisons.
Absolutely.
So there's no coincidence that your immune system will react the same way to chemicals as it would a vaccine or ingredients in a vaccine. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So your immune system is constantly in that state of hyper, overreacting. It's always on the defense because it's not only just vaccines you're being exposed to, but it's the air, it's the chemicals in the food,
The water,
it's
the
the
fluoride,
it's the news,
the news.
right? It's the water.
Do not get me started on the news, because
Right.
I complain to him about my parents all the goddamn time. I walk in my house, Issa.
CNN all day, every day.
Oh, 'cause she already know what it is. She already know what it is.
Yeah.
My motherfucking mom and my father,
Yeah.
they only talk about two things all day.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
And I bet you I could guess what the two things are. What are the two things? Yeah, we're going to play a game right now. What are the two things that my parents talk about all day?
Donald Trump.
Carl.
Oh, that's
And
one.
COVID-19.
Ding, ding, ding.
COVID-19.
Oh, shit. Eryk, you win. Mr. Cyree, you win.
All right.
Trump and COVID-19, that's all they talk about all day.
Yeah, I mean that's most people.
That's
conversation.
most people
Yeah.
everywhere.
But it is so
Everywhere,
much
yeah.
more to life than COVID-19 and Trump. Like,
But you gotta understand, it's everywhere. They're being bombarded with it. It's even when they walk outside, somebody else is doing the same thing they're doing. So it feeds that repetition. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it keeps them engaged. It's just like how they keep us engaged by notifying us through
Yeah.
social media
Don't get me
platforms.
started on these
right.
algorithms,
Yeah.
Lord.
yo, go ahead, talk your shit. This is the name of the podcast. Talk your shit.
I'm actually working on a presentation on how.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm actually working on doing a presentation for work on how people can use algorithms to work for them when they're looking for jobs, when they're trying to like promote their themselves online or whatnot. And it's been really interesting I still haven't seen, I think it's called The Social Dilemma.
Oh yeah, on Netflix.
I still haven't watched it,
Oh, yeah, you
but
gotta
I
see
actually
that.
heard some of the guys, the whistleblowers, who were featured in that film.
Yeah.
I heard them speak on another podcast, actually.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And hearing how the inner workings of it and how it really works. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Really?
information, the truth, like,
Yes, I heard they
it's
hide
all
it.
up in the air at
Right.
this point, you know?
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like everything that's going on in the media, how people are reacting has to do largely to like what they're being fed on their phones when they open up their YouTube, when they open up their Instagram, and like what they're choosing to engage in. But if you already have these corporations that have already like have done the inside out of business analytics to say we know how to keep these people engaged,
Absolutely.
optimal capacity.
Yeah, they know our psychology.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
like so. What is this game that we're playing? Like with who? Because you already like totally set this up. These people, we're gonna streamline them based on their views and what they like to watch. We're gonna send them all these like Republican right wing content. We're gonna give these people all this leftist democratic content, right? And we're gonna keep them on these opposite ends. But when we realize that they're not engaging with the content as much, we'll throw things from the opposite sides because we know how to fuel. Like if we get them angry and riled up, then they'll engage more in social media.
Right.
Right, absolutely.
Exactly.
So, when I met this young lady, she had told me that she wasn't on social media, and it was to my surprise, though, honestly.
Okay.
And I automatically, when she said I'm not on social media, I knew that this was a different type of young lady right here.
Oh yeah.
No, seriously.
Where'd you meet at?
We met at a mutual
cookout.
friend.
Yeah.
Oh,
My
cookout.
guy
okay.
Deshaun. Shout out to my man Deshaun. You know what I mean? That's my guy, man. So yeah, I met her. We were just talking shit. I forget.
We were talking about music. We were talking about music.
Talking about music. Yeah, this young lady's an artist as well.
Oh, you are.
No.
You're not?
No.
All right.
In my mind, in my
Yeah,
apartment.
What do you mean?
No,
Like,
you
so
do
what
poetry or you draw?
I draw like leisurely.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. It was one of those. All right. My apologies.
So can you really draw? Or what you say? Why you say it in your mind? No.
just for my leisure, my recreation.
You probably could draw your
my
ass off.
time.
You probably could, she being modest right
Yeah.
now. You
Some
being
people
modest.
are bashful about their
I know,
God-given
yeah.
abilities, you
Right.
know?
And I understand because it's like protecting your innocence. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because once you put it out there, we see what happens with celebrities and like the Michael Jacksons of the world or Kanye's and these people. You know, that's your baby. You know what I mean? It's like your child. That creativity. You know, so if you don't
They're
protect
super
it,
passionate about their craft, though. Those
Right.
people that you just mentioned, they're
Yeah.
super
Right.
passionate about their
Right.
crafts.
It's your love. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're gonna do what you got to do to protect it. But once you put it out there in the public sphere,
No, it's not
it's
coming
fair
back.
game.
Yeah,
Right.
You
it's
know what I'm
not-
saying? Like,
yeah.
so then you got people telling you, well, you know it's valuable, but they saying I don't believe it, and then you monetize it. You put a price on it.
Right.
When in actuality, it's really priceless. Like your drawing that you do, there's no price you really can put on it. And if we put any price on it, that's where you kind of take away from its value, because now it's subject to markets and public opinion and publishing companies. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
true, but at the same
right.
time, you have to make a livelihood out of your craft, though.
That's
you know what I
true,
mean?
that's
They
true.
say that's the true happiness when
Right.
you're able to live on your God-given ability.
Right.
That's when.
But it's a struggle, though.
It is.
You see the struggle.
No, of course.
We see it play out. There's many ways you can make a living. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
You know what I mean? So some things that's sacred, you got to just keep it.
I'd rather it be that way, though.
I don't know. It
I feel like.
It depends.
Well,
It depends.
first of all,
For me,
everybody.
For me, it depends.
All right, everybody God-given gifts are different too. We
That's true.
we
Yeah,
have
we
to
all-
take
yeah,
that to
yeah.
accountability.
Indeed.
So I think it would be like that. You know,
Right. Yeah.
obviously you know me for a long time. My hobbies is talking shit.
How much would you charge for information?
Damn. How much I would charge for information? I don't know. I think the money would come to me if I put that out. If I honestly, I wouldn't charge for information because this is information right now. You understand what we giving to the people right now? We on camera. We're talking about some wonderful things right now. So the information is free for right now. Now, of course, I want to make a livelihood out of this. You know, I've been studying health for a little while now. This, you know what I mean, young man, more than me. You know, how many years you been studying health?
Wow, man. Well, my mother started me out, so
Right.
since the
Alright.
90s. Since the 90s. And
Since the
then-
90s.
And then by myself, independently, probably like the 2001, 2002.
And me, I've been in the game since 2014.
Right.
So, you know what? So now I want to ask y'all this now.
I've been swimming on the periphery
Hey.
past
long
5
as
years.
you
All right, no, that's
But I'm
cool.
getting there, I'm getting
no,
there.
you getting there, and,
Right.
and that's all that matters. As long as you're aware of what you're doing, that's all that matters at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Your self-awareness. So let me ask y'all something, though. So now, we were kids, right?
Yeah.
We were kids, you know what I mean? We was innocent. We saw the world a certain way.
Yeah.
At what age did your mind open up and y'all figured out that this 3D world wasn't it? It wasn't what we was taught. At what point and maybe what incident maybe happened? Like, damn, we in a matrix and damn, everything was a lie. Go ahead.
That's a good question.
I think since I was a child, I've always had conflicting views of the world that to this day never worked themselves out. So I was always from the jump thinking like there's more to this matrix life that we're in, and I don't understand the layers and the dimensions of it all from very early on.
All right, but
Like growing up, I was like I would go to church and stuff like that. But then on the side, my family practiced what they practiced, and I would see things, and people be taken possession of, and dead relatives speaking through people, and like from when I was little. And
astral projection, you ever messed with it?
I won't say that I have. I won't say that I
All
have.
right, I know somebody that has. Yeah, that shit scares the shit out of me. But All right, but all right. So even when you was in church,
So yeah, so always having that like, but mommy, we don't tell people about this, like, and the church says that, like, always those conflicting things from when I was little, like,
Right.
but then seeing like possessions take place, and that's like something undeniable that happened in my face, live and direct, that I've never been able to like reconcile with, but to enough to say like, yeah, there's a lot going on around here that we don't understand, seen and unseen.
Indeed.
absolutely.
And even for me, that seems to be always the common factor in most of us as children, seeing this contradicting behavior. In the house is one thing, and then outside, and then around these people, it's another. So I think naturally it draws up that questioning. But you're told what? Stop asking so many questions.
Absolutely.
Just listen to mommy.
Follow
Follow
right.
tradition.
Right.
This is what we do. And that's for this and this is for that. So then that trains your mind to say, oh, okay, well then I have to, in a sense, mask certain things about my actual life, in a sense, or my culture, or whatever it is, because it's not appropriate. So you start to feel like indifferent, in a sense, right, to the outside world, or maybe to your collective and amongst your friends.
Absolutely.
But we are social creatures, right? So
Absolutely.
we want to fit in, but we got to also fit in with our immediate, plus our peers, and if then so many other social settings. So it's like, wow, how many hats I have to, how many masks I have to wear?
Absolutely.
You are speaking to me
Right?
loud and clear.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it's that.
Being an intellectual black man from the hood, it's difficult. It is difficult.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we have to deal with. They'll be like, "Oh, why you talk proper?" And and it was difficult. So that was one of the things for me too. It was like, be smart. Work hard. These are the things that was indoctrinated us as children, right?
Right.
And somehow to be those things would mean to not be black.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not to
Yes,
be
and
able to
that's
exist
scary.
as a black boy or a black man.
Yes.
Yeah. Or a sister. You're not. If you speak with certain words and so on and so forth like that, oh, you being uppity, or what are you trying to be white?
You're Oreo.
Yeah,
That-
you're
that's another thing,
Oreo
too.
or whatever, and so on and so forth like that. Or even if your hair too, how you wear your hair, or if you wear dashiki, you know what I mean? So
Now it's cool.
right
Now it's cool.
Yeah, now it's
But
cool.
back in the day, oh
Right,
shit.
right, it is.
You-
Or
and if you
going
was-
to college too, it's depending on your circle, that could work against you too. For them, they might start looking at you like, "Oh, what you going to school for?" Like is that?
Well, I say that was more in the 90s. When I became of that age, then going to college was cool. Going to college was a thing. Maybe that was just my circle. Maybe
Yeah,
that
I
was
think
just
it was
my
your
circle.
yeah.
Maybe it was just my circle.
Yeah, 'cause my circle was a little bit more ratchet.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So then, can I
yeah.
ask? So you had this like internal conflict in yourself
Yes,
when it
that's
comes
correct.
to like using vocabulary to its fullest to express everything that you wanted
Yes.
to perfectly, to wrestling how that level of vocabulary, what it had to say for your blackness or level of blackness or level of whiteness at that.
Yes.
So I would imagine at some point growing up, you were at a crossroads. Like, do I dumb it down and fit in with my space, or do I continue to be myself and let that measure up how it will in the bigger arena of blackness?
Okay. So, all right. So for me, unfortunately, yes, I had to dumb it down, but I don't think that was a conscious decision. I believe it was a subconscious decision because of the people I surrounded myself with. So now, obviously, you know what I mean? You hear what the vernacular I speak with. You know what I mean? It could be a little hood sometimes. Now, from ages, I want to say maybe after I graduated high school, you know what I mean? I was just around mad hood dudes. So, of course, you are what your environment is, right? So of course, a little bit of that got into me, but as I got older, I noticed that it was all bullshit. Cause I feel like everybody wants to fit in. At least when you're an adolescent, at least I say that everybody wants to fit in. I felt like I wasn't accepted. I felt like I was intelligent, and sometimes I felt like I had to hide that. Sometimes, and you know what's scary about this? Sometimes I felt like I had to hide that in order to get women. For real. Listen, I know you're gonna make that face. Listen, no.
I'm listening.
No, I know you listening. No, I know you listening, but you like, oh man, here we go with this bullshit. You probably thinking that in your mind. But
Okay.
no, but or at least the women that
Right.
I was trying to get. I'm gonna keep it a buck because there is.
Yeah, don't put that on her. Don't
No,
put that
no,
on
no,
the
no,
sister.
no. I won't.
She ain't thinking like that.
No, of course she's not. Obviously, I just met her, and obviously this is a bright young lady.
Right, exactly.
But the women that I was trying to get, man,
You felt like you had to. Yeah.
I felt like I had to because I feel like sometimes being an intelligent black man is going to scare women off. At least the women that I was at least trying to get.
Pursue. Yeah.
The women I was trying to pursue. Yes, that's correct. So I want to ask E this. E, have you ever felt that way?
No, I always was, I never felt like I had to be, because I'm me, regardless, you know what I'm saying? Like, even amongst my friends, as ratchet as I'm ratchet too.
Yeah,
to
me
a certain
too.
degree,
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I always was conscious of what I was willing.
Sophista ratchet.
Sophista ratchet, yeah. I was always conscious of what I was willing to do and willing not to do, or
Right.
compromise in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
why should I have to do that?
Right.
If you don't like me as I am, then you're not for me.
Right.
Pretty much. So I was kind of aware of that early on. You see what I'm saying? And
Yes.
I still was able to attract, women and stuff like that. Just being me. If I'm a quiet person generally. So
Right.
and I was attracting them by being quiet. So why should I have to be like these guys?
I feel like when you're younger, it's like this race to like fit in.
Yeah, to
play
fit
together.
in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to fit in.
And then when
Yeah.
you're older, you're like, oh, there's a lane for everybody. There's
Yes.
a lane
Right.
for like this quirky gamer who
Exactly.
is over here.
The awkward black guy. That's what
for
they call him,
this
right?
MMA fighter over
Yeah.
here.
Right.
Like,
It's always, you realize, like, there's people for me. It's somebody for everyone the same way,
Absolutely.
In relationships.
This
it's-
universe is infinite.
Yeah, it's,
It's infinite. There's always somebody out
so
there for
always
you.
a matchup, yeah.
Absolutely.
So
No
once
matter.
you get past that, you let that go, you good. Less
Yeah, man.
worries.
And then
8 billion people on the planet.
All right.
yeah, absolutely.
Is
of
everybody
course.
for some money?
But all these memes, there's 8 billion people on the planet, but there's nobody for me. I know y'all seen the memes out there.
Oh,
yeah, this
really?
shit makes me roll my eyes too.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, those are people that's, obviously dealing with something internally, so. And we got to be compassionate for those people.
So, all right. So you felt like you never had to, adapt a persona.
No.
Well, I'll tell you this though. Let's see what age for me that I felt like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just be me. I'm gonna talk my shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be into this health because remember, I got a lot of backlash. E. I mean, of course, I don't think you was around me then when I first became health conscious.
No.
Yo, I got so much shit from people. It's like, yo, Carl, what are you doing? And yo, this shit is fake. And they was like, oh, you're crazy. Even from my parents, even from my mom.
Right.
And I ain't even gonna lie, when I first started, I think my mom said, I think I had OCD. I ain't gonna lie, that shit pissed me off. That shit pissed me off. And it was just like, but you know what? Some people is not gonna understand you no matter what.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So it is a little frustrating.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm here now, and I understand that there's a lane for me, and I'm here. And you know what? Let's do it. And hopefully I could
inspire, right?
I could inspire people. And you know what? Maybe.
And it's like for those people who would try to tear you down,
Yeah.
like if at the end of the day they can't give you any facts to their point, of why you shouldn't eat healthy, then what does it matter? What does it
you're
matter?
absolutely right, but
Right.
at the
Because
same,
if you can state to them like I'm making these choices for my health because A, B, and C,
right,
and the outcomes will be X, Y, Z, then if they can't give you the counter to that, then it's like you're just giving off your emotions onto me, basically.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't. You're gonna stop eating. You're gonna stop eating these things. And what do you think? Your life is gonna live longer. You still might get hit by a car anyway. And it's like, but where's the
And somebody that told me that before.
coming from? You know.
They
Right.
say that. Yeah, they do say that. Yeah. Another thing they always say is you gotta die from something, right? You hear people say that. You're gonna die from something.
Yeah, right.
So you know what I mean? It's just like
And it's true, but it's at the same time, it's like, come on, man. Just because
Right.
you can't do it, don't put your shit on me. You know?
yeah, people always project their fears
Onto
or,
you, right.
or their weaknesses onto you, you know, because like people have a problem with change, even in other people. Like they don't want to see you change. It's like, why not? Because
Yeah, man.
you might actually start to influence me. I don't want you influencing me.
Right.
Go over there with your salads, you know, your spiritual talk.
Or yeah, it's
Right.
my spiritual talk to.
Right.
Oh man.
Even like what you said, you know, amongst when you was growing up and seeing, you know, possessions and things like that. When you talk about, and you can see it, you can experience it, and people still will deny your actual experiences because it's not associated with their realm of thought. So if it's not, let's say, because that would be, if we want to use nice terms, that would be something like bipolarism or multiple personality disorder. That's what they'll diagnose that person with. They won't say, oh, they won't accept the fact that maybe they're possessed, you know what I'm saying, with some sort of entity or something like that. That's just like, no, that's crazy talk. But it's like, this person actually experienced it. They seen it happen,
Right.
you know what I mean? And they seen it, you know, exercised out. How can you deny somebody because my realm of thought says that's not true or that's, you know, whatever foolish talk.
All right,
what I'm saying?
cool.
I
Now,
agree.
I love that you said that. So I want to ask you this: how you feel about people that catch the Holy Ghost in church?
I to me,
To you,
I'm not in denial of the possession, the Holy Spirit. I feel it's true
You feel like
because
it's true.
we're dealing with energy at the end of the day,
That's correct.
right? So there is a possibility where you could actually become, you know, invigorated or, you know, influenced by some other entity.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean? If
but-
you're open to that, if you're open to it.
and that's true, Eve.
Right.
That's true. But you don't feel like there's people that like just love to make a scene.
Yeah, there is some people.
All right,
that,
all right,
that's
that-
in
that's-
church.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel
that
like
happens.
there is
Yeah, that happens. And I don't want to say Holy Ghost. I don't want to, you know, say Holy Ghost in the terms of the commercialized version of it, because it
Yes.
became that way due to people seeing how you're supposed to react during a certain moment, right?
Absolutely.
In church or whatever.
Absolutely.
So it's a conditioned response. So they're gonna react that way. You know, they're gonna get up and, you know, because you see them doing the same thing, and it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Everybody is not going to have the same response to some sort of entity or whatever it is that you feel is influencing you right now. It's not going to be the same dance. Why is it looking all the same? It's just like fruit in the supermarket. Why they all look uniform? Why is all apples the same? They don't grow like that in nature. Some of them got dents in them, scars and scrapes. So spirituality is like that too. It's not uniform. And everybody's experience is not the same. It doesn't
Absolutely.
work that way. So when you see that, that's when you gotta be like, yeah, that ain't real. They're acting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's some
So-
phenomenal actors and actresses
is.
out there. So
That's true.
sometimes you'll never know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna let that one sit in the pot, right?
You know what I'm saying, man? Listen, man. It's just
I mean, yeah, I've seen people catching the Holy Ghost in church, and
Right.
I've seen people like, quote unquote, have like their bodies or their minds released of demons
Yeah.
in church or
Right.
whatnot, and it looks. I mean,
it look real. No, listen.
it looks really real. Whatever they
Right.
going through, like, and
Right.
we can only. Let me ask you something.
Yes.
If you were born in a community of blind people,
Okay.
and for generations, everyone in the community has been born blind, right? And you're born in this community, and you have the ability to see.
Okay.
How do you explain what you're experiencing to the people around you without sounding crazy?
I don't think there's no way. I don't think that's possible. And you know, it's funny.
So to that, I will say, I feel like there are people who can see things beyond what we can see.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I think within that, there are ranges of how far certain people can see.
Exactly.
Into the layers that are beyond this,
Exactly.
I know
right?
exactly.
And
Exactly.
so I don't think that people should be like cornered into like crazy boxes.
Exactly.
But I also don't feel like we have the capacity to really like speak on those types of experiences.
Exactly.
that are,
Absolutely.
like,
No,
Exactly.
you're true.
Exactly.
we don't even know where where it really starts from.
No, that's true.
Right. And just
Like-
because you can't perceive it through your sensory perception, that doesn't make it not real. Because you're limited in your ability to see or hear or whatever. So you say it's impossible because you automatically categorize a person based upon them, quote unquote, being human. So you say, we're both humans, I'm the same, you're the same, or whatever. Then you have to see is limited. Your limit to see is the same as mine. How can you see further? You doubt it.
Well, actually, no.
But you would accept a dog that can hear sounds, far more at a lower frequency. You accept
That's
that
really
reality.
interesting, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so,
But I think the logical explanation would be like,
Yeah.
okay, that's a different mammal. You know what I'm saying? That's a different breed of a creature. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
So I think logically we probably say that.
indeed, yeah,
But
indeed.
We know that dogs. Damn, I can't see you at all, Issa. But
It's okay.
that's all right. We just gonna see your fro for the whole episode.
No, it's fine.
That's right.
We just gonna see your fro for the whole episode.
All right,
It's the
right.
fro talking.
Exactly.
Absolutely no.
Exactly.
Fro talk.
Fro talk, baby.
Fro talk.
Fro talk. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're
No, but-
right. Normal reaction would be, well, that's a different species and stuff
Yeah, it's a
like
different
that.
species.
Well, then you should possibly consider the fact that even though me and you look the same, because all birds are birds, right?
Right.
But they all have different colors.
That's
They
absolutely.
have different diets.
Some fly, some
Some
don't.
fly, some on the ground, and so on and so forth like that. So in the so-called human race, we have differences. We have lineages and bloodlines that so it's differences. We have cultural practices that we're exposed to at young ages, some of us.
Absolutely.
So if your experience is not the same as mine, then you're definitely not going to be able to understand what I'm saying. Just like how you said the thing with the blind analogy, right? Because you're not from my world. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been conditioned a certain way, and you have been conditioned a certain way.
Absolutely.
So before you jump to conclusions, first try to understand my world, and then we can both kind of reason, and based upon those differences, and then maybe you can see, and if you can't, then just accept the fact that I see what I see, and be fine with that. Why are we disagreeing? Like, why are you getting upset? This is what I'm saying. Well, why are you saying I'm crazy? I'm not out of control. That's the definition of crazy, when you're out of control. You're not aware of what you're doing. You're just doing it. Obviously, if I'm having a conversation with you and I'm able to convey my experience to you, right, in a certain way, then how am I crazy? You know what I'm saying? I have all my senses here. So, but people are quick to, based upon their cultural experiences, based upon their conditioning, to now project that it's impossible for you to have that kind of experience. And it's not true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So, that will make more of a healthier social environment if we accept more of each other's differences and not being judgmental about each other's differences or condemn us on each other's differences. You know what I mean? We have to, yeah.
With that, I think it's also about deciding for yourself and for each other, what are the differences that you can live with, and what are the differences that are so fundamental to like your idea of yourself as a person and the world, that you can't mix with or vibe with someone coming from a totally different mindset.
Right.
Yeah, but there's so much different ideologies. All right, so for example, I don't know if you guys seen the video of the Jewish people with the birds, right?
No.
Have you ever seen that video?
No,
With
I
the
never-
birds?
With the
Yeah,
birds, right.
the Jewish people, I believe is some sort of cultural practice where they, I don't know if they picked the feathers off of chickens.
Oh, I
You know what I'm talking
I seen
about?
that up close and personal.
Oh, you seen it in close
And
in person?
on Bedford Avenue and over there.
Yes, in Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn. Yes, this is what they do. It's some sort of cultural practice that they do. Now, a lot of people think is very unethical.
Yeah, they do.
So now there's always going to. So I say that to say this.
But
this-
it's someone's religious practice. So how
exactly.
do you infringe on
But-
religious rights?
Exactly. Yeah.
But at the same time, the way they was handling these birds
Yeah.
can come off as unethical.
Yeah.
So,
So
see now here we
religious
go.
rights or animal rights.
And that's the thing. So I believe that there's always going to be differences, always going to be conflict. So what you said is beautiful.
Right.
It's beautiful. Ideally, it's beautiful.
Ideally, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But when we bring it to reality, is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's kind of.
Is it
It's
realistic?
difficult. Yeah, it's difficult too.
But I feel like what you're saying, like, is not so far out there. That's just like middle moderate. Like, how can we all exist like
Right.
civilly in the middle?
Right.
And I feel like so many people across this country like are having these conversations
Yeah.
Mhm.
that it's like unfortunate that what the media picks up on is the division, is
Yeah.
the like
Absolutely.
extremes on
Right.
the opposite ends.
Right.
Because more people are like along that thought wave
Yeah. Yeah.
of figuring out just how to make it work with your differences.
Right. And it's
But I feel like
Yeah.
also in this country there's a difference in ideology that comes with ownership versus consumerism, victim versus victor mentality that like puts people's ideas on taxes, on what should we do like in terms of poverty in this country, puts people in opposite ends of the spectrum, like in opposite camps, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
No, I understand what
It
you're
definitely,
saying.
yeah, it definitely does.
I understand what you're saying, but it's going to be so difficult. It's like we said, there's so much different ideologies. Now we're going to try and figure out, okay, how can we find common ground? This is what we're trying to accomplish, right?
And in that, it's like, are you problem based or solution based? So if you problem based, step here, because we can't even. You could just die off and
Right.
wither away. We
Right.
can't have this conversation with you.
Right.
So now, for those that are solutions based, right?
Yes.
Now
Alright, so,
let's
alright.
have a conversation.
All right,
Right.
and that's phenomenal.
Right.
But
Exactly.
it's so much going on. It's like you said, there's so many layers. So
Right,
much
and then
going on.
and then in saying, okay, solutions. Is it the government's job to be the solution,
No.
or is it you as the individual to be
It's
the solution?
it's the individuals.
Now, there's certain individuals that may think there's a problem, and then there's certain individuals that think that there's not a problem. So even within that, you see what I'm saying? So for like, all right, for example, like, all right, let's just say abortion or whatever.
Okay.
There's some people that think it's fine how it is, where
Yeah.
the woman has the right to kill the baby, and then there's some people like, no, they're pro-life. Who's wrong?
Right.
We can't say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Like,
that.
Yeah.
And
certain-
I'm pro-life. And we were just talking about this
Right,
the other day. I
right.
think
Yeah.
abortion is abomination.
Right.
That's just my personal opinion. But
Right.
there's some people that don't agree with that. They
Right.
say, "Oh, yeah, it's my body, my choice." I know
Right.
you heard that slogan before.
Absolutely.
Right.
So,
So I mean, with that.
I think when it comes to our community, like, we don't need any more.
yeah,
We don't need
listen,
any more.
I agree. We don't need no more fuckery. I agree with
Like,
it.
we don't need any more abortions, is what I mean.
Oh, we don't
in
need
our
no more
communities.
abortions, but we don't need no more fuckery too.
We don't need any more fuckery either.
Yeah,
right?
so it's a combination of both.
So then,
Well, that's when it goes back to what you said, solution based. So, because we also have to assess their problems in any type of environment, whether it's in a.
so
the
we need to
immediate-
change the music.
Okay.
All right, that's for one.
That's one.
Right.
Change the music.
You're right.
Stop all the drug, sex, murder shit.
But how you gonna tell an artist
Yeah.
how to express himself?
The only way that's going to change, The only way that's going to change.
But
Issa?
when that is being like when they're being like when they have running a monopoly on like media markets, radio and shit like
But
that.
that's the music business, though. You understand that? That's the music business, yeah. And honestly, that's corrupting itself, and that would probably be a whole
Okay,
different
so
podcast.
who controls black culture?
Oh, the Jewish people that control the
said the
music.
Jewish.
No, I'm being for real. Dumb motherfuckers that control the music business because they pump out so many images, right? They pump out these songs created by these artists. Now we're gonna talk about all the mainstream artists, the Cardi B's, the Babies, the Megan Thee Stallions, the Pop Smokes. Now all three of us can agree that that's low vibrational music, correct? Now we are bombarded with this music for a reason. I think we could all agree with that too.
Indeed.
Now, do y'all believe that it's suggestive programming?
Yeah, it's suggestive programming. But there's many,
go.
and there's many outlets of suggestive programming. But the only way that's going to change, because what they do have on black culture is that part of it, right? The business side of it. So they control that side of it. But the creativity of it,
Well, obviously
it's still,
we do.
It's still us.
Yeah, of
and
course.
the reason art imitates life, right? So the only way the artistry can change or the music can change if we change the environment. The environment has to change first.
No, hold on.
In order for it to change.
You said the art imitates life,
Yes,
or the life imitates the art. Which one is it?
art imitates life in this case, right? Because
Why?
the art is the extension of the reality that you're in. It's not life acting on the art. It's the art trying to imitate what you're experiencing, because it's not real anyway. It's created. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's synthetic. So when it's organic, then it's the other way around, because it's a synchronicity. It's ebb and flow with life and art. But when it's inverted, when it's corrupted, it's the other way around.
That's correct.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's when it can have more of a manipulation into it, because it's distorted, right? So you create that opening for whatever comes with that.
No, but obviously that the art is affecting the people. Obviously.
Yeah, but it's not going to change unless the environment changes. It's the same thing now, right? People say, "Oh, you see these young people now, what they doing?" You know why? Because any environment that's in a destitute state, right?
Mm-hmm.
That does not change from that destitute state, and it only gets worse. The generations that come out of that environment, from this one to the next, will only be worse than the ones who were previously there before. That's just science. That's a scientific fact. You can see this with rats. You can see this with cats. You can see this with monkeys. If they're in an environment that has not changed from that destitute state and only getting worse and worse and worse, then the behavior that they exude will be worse. Their mentality will be worse. Plus, you have the music and the food and the visuals that correlate with that. You have
Absolutely.
the tools are even more diabolical than before. What you dealt with, or what I dealt with, or what you dealt with, is much more different than what they're dealing with. They're dealing with our shit that we had, plus some other shit that they got to deal with. So it's even harder for them to break those psychological, chains,
Right,
and so on and so
it's
forth.
even less conscious musicians now than when we was growing up. It's
Right.
even less now.
Right. So the environment has to change, and until that does not change, we're not going to see what we want to see. We can't expect people to just wake up at the same time, for one thing, and then for it to be a huge percentage of them when they're still in these conditions. The conditions have to change in order for it to happen, and that starts with the immediate community. So, like I like to say, we don't need a community leader. We need a community to lead.
Yeah,
we need this
that's
collective
real.
effort. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's real.
that's what we need to make this happen. That's the only way. Otherwise, it's only going to be worse.
But what do you recommend? So what we just gonna smack CDs out these kids' hands? Like,
No, I'm not saying that. I just said it to you. We have to change the environment. So one of the things that you could do is, in changing the environment, is introducing things that help support that change. So
Okay.
let's say, like,
Let's give an example.
if food is a problem, right? Then we have to do
Absolutely.
We have to do urban agriculture. We have to have a community garden. and then the children will come to the community garden and learn how to grow food and these kind of things like
Which
that.
we
If
definitely
abortion
need to
is the problem, if we say, well, we need to reduce abortions, well, first we have to have more sex educated related programs, a dialogue to help to expose them to that information on why they should be more responsible in the sexual sector, right, of their life. They're not educated. There's
Yeah,
nobody
absolutely.
having these conversations with them, so we need that.
But
You know what I mean?
honestly, the conversations that are being had is,
Yeah.
you know, they tell what they told us when we was young. You know, try and fornicate with as much women as possible. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
that was a lot of
Yeah, that's our friends telling us.
yeah, that's our friends. Even some of our uncles too. And it was poison. It was absolute poison, man. So now that's affected the women. So now the women are looking at us like we all dogs and all this type of shit. And it's just a vicious cycle that just keeps on going and going and going, man. And it's just
Right.
real
That's
unfortunate.
That's why you have to combat it with, these different forms of educating on these subject matters that we
Once
have.
you know better, you do better.
Yeah, once you know
Absolutely.
better, you do better. And also, a lot of these children
But they're
don't have
rejecting the knowledge, though. Let's not act like everybody's accepting of, what is being taught. So
That's true.
So it is quite difficult. But I'll say this, man. I'm just trying to do my part. Of course, me and
Trying
this
to do
brother
my part,
working
yeah.
together. We're gonna try and get the people's minds right, man.
Yeah. And
It's just so amazing to me how much poison that infiltrated our minds when we was adolescents, and it's just
yeah, and
Man.
it continues on even in your adulthood. It's not just because it's one program for the children, and there's another program for the teenagers. Then
there's
there's another program
for the adults.
Yeah,
Feel me?
Right.
yeah. So we all got our own, thing going on. You know.
So
what I
you
mean?
know what? Now this just raised a question. So Issa, what you was taught about men when you were young? Yeah, let's get into the shit now.
The shit.
Yeah, we can get into
You
the shit,
have
man.
all the time in the world to think about guys. They're not important right now.
Absolutely.
They
Good
will be
advice.
there.
It's good advice.
That's great advice.
And yeah, Uchi Wally, all of that. Lil Kim, Kaya, My Neck, My Back, and all of that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, can you specify what you mean exactly by when you mention these artists?
I mean, because of course your mother and your mother and your grandmother again tell you like that you don't do any of that, and
Right.
You're like, oh, this is cool.
yeah, and then you see like Uchi Wa and like
Right,
just
yeah.
promiscuous ass things on
Right,
TV all the
right.
time. I remember like singing certain things word for word that now when I hear it, I'm like, I can't believe I had to be like
That's a fact.
10 years old and
Exactly.
I knew like with the remote in the mirror like
Yeah,
as a
you was
kid or
going
whatnot.
in.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is crazy because now like Cardi B is gonna be considered old school hip hop at some point. Like
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we
that's
don't
old school hip hop.
we don't
Like
know.
and that's not even what I
We
think
don't
of when I
know.
think
Yeah,
of old school
absolutely.
hip hop.
So that
You
makes
thinking of
you-
Lauryn Hills and all that
Yeah.
good stuff, you know?
So it's like, damn, what's to come if that's old school hip hop? What is to come?
For real, 50 Cent is old school.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I love G-Unit, man. But all that shit was so much fucking poison, man.
It's toxic. But
It was
it's,
toxic.
it just speaks to the environment. Again, that's when artists and the
Well, we all have a little toxicity in us. We all do.
We come from a toxic environment. Of course we do.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
And
Not even just in so-called hood or the black community. Everybody.
Everybody.
From every ethnic culture or whatever background, there's certain things that are toxic.
You know, the toxicity is praised. And getting back to when I felt like I had to be, back then when I felt like I had to be different to get women, we see this going on now. Now, what do you think that these young men think today? Because
I have no idea.
you have no idea. Well,
I'm living under a rock right now. Seriously,
I
and
think that's a
when
good thing.
I do see like what I do see with these teenagers running around with guns, 2:30 in the afternoon in my area. Just my area is just wild, wild west. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who are these little girls that think the world of them. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this is like a generation of like foster care parents, like something like there's a huge disconnect in like values.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's babies raising babies.
It is. It is. I know a young lady, or well, I shouldn't say where though, because I don't know if she ever, this might get back to her, but she is 33.
Yeah.
Her daughter 15, and she just had a kid, and it was just like, damn. I was like, damn.
Yeah. Still.
It's just.
In a very early development stage.
Yeah, the game is crazy, man.
To have that happen, and
but that's always been happening though, so we can't. Act
yeah,
like
it's not like it's new. Yeah, it's definitely been happening, but that's because the community's been in a state of destitute.
Very hypersexualized.
Yeah, and exactly. And some of these young girls are, another problem is the molestation, and by the uncles or the boyfriend
or the cousins,
cousin or whatever and stuff like that. So, a lot of times that contributes to that behavior, the hypersexual, misguided energy, no father there too.
Right.
So. Oh
man, I can't even fathom where I'd be without my father.
Right.
And I'm just so thankful for that, man.
Right. And that's why,
That does make a big difference.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And in our community, it's like how many of our children are being raised with two parents.
Right. And that also speaks to us losing that. It's pretty much like a affirmation that it takes a village, right? Mm-hmm. We would say that, but not only say that, that was actually a real thing at one particular time. Right. So if my father wasn't there, my neighbor, he's a brother or whatever, he would say something, or the lady next door, what you doing? They was involved.
Miss Ramon.
Miss Ramon.
That was for me, Miss Ramon.
Exactly. So
man, God bless him, man.
We lost that village environment where, okay, even if the father's not there or the mother may be occupied with other children, there's other people that'll step in and get involved. And then people are at each other in their own immediate family. Like, I don't speak to my sister, or I don't mess with my cousins and them. I don't like that blah, 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 blah. Or so even within their immediate family, they don't have a village kind of thing going on. On top of that, outside in their neighborhood, they don't have that either. So it's like, where do you go? Where do you turn? And then it's like these children, we all we get left out to raise ourselves or pick up from the environment what we can, and then that influences us, and we try to pretty much hang on to something that looks like what we feel is missing. So the young boy who comes, he has a certain, especially if he's like take charge or whatever, it kind of mimics that masculine energy that she may be, so she clings to that. Vice versa.
But it's not the correct masculine energy.
I know, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah, she doesn't know that.
Right.
And that's the thing with young women.
Right.
These days, they're misguided in what masculinity truly is.
Right.
You understand? And a lot of those dudes have no balance. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a balance between masculinity and divine feminine.
Yeah. But they coming from the same household experience too. He's also coming from a broken experience, so he's trying to find his way too. So they both, in a sense, are in balance.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. But they're trying to find balance, but because they're both in balance, then they're not going to end up finding it. It's going to be more so friction.
Absolutely.
Right. It's going to be misguided energy. So even with like sheep, right? When sheep may not be able to get certain food sources, right? They need certain minerals though. So what they'll do is these like the rocks or whatever, it starts to leach out minerals. They'll start licking the rocks to get those nutrients.
That's interesting.
Right.
Right.
Because they're in a state of destitute and desperation. So wherever they can get it, just like some people, they call pica, they eat the chalk and stuff like that because they're looking for certain minerals, calcium, whatever it is. So when you're in that state of desperation, even though it's toxic, you're still going to try to get whatever you can, even though it's like more of a contaminated version of it.
Ah, I see. That was a very interesting analogy.
This is what's going on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's crazy. That was a very interesting analogy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess so. That's what's going on right now, though. But we we need to teach the good men
Yeah.
how to be, of course, more masculine and more sexually appealing too, because I believe that to stop all this, I think good energy has to mate, and then with that offspring, I think we could start something new. So of course,
I feel like that's the only way. You know,
I think
like,
that's
once you've come into a position in your life where you could look at the past and be like, you know what, going forward, shit needs to look different. Things need to look different. Sorry, and you get someone that's like-minded with that same mentality, then you work together. But it's like, and again, it goes into people's mentalities. If people are comfortable being third, fourth generation in the projects, then
Yeah.
it is what it is, you know?
Right.
But if you are like, you know what? I happen to know that other people in this world are living differently, and I'd like to try that out.
Yeah.
absolutely. Now that's what should be done, ideally, but unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't happen like that.
Well, it's not going to happen probably in the massive amount of numbers that you probably would like it would, but it's going to happen.
It is happening.
Yeah, it is happening.
It is happening.
Yeah.
There are more educated, miseducated, educated, re-educated, uneducated Black people, right? Who've gone to college. Things didn't work
go
out
ahead, no.
how it was supposed to or whatnot.
Yes.
Or, you know, you realize that you've been living in this grand world of illusion, right?
Right.
Or-
But some people are not aware of that
But
this is
more
an
and
illusion.
more, there's like more and more people who have been educated, and I'm not even talking about just college education, but even in that in itself, like that networking of Black people across different campuses and colleges and networking, happy hour, like Black socials and different things like that. But just even on social media, a comment or a news article and people having this back and forth of conversation and dialogue, like it's happening on a level that I feel like is unprecedented. Like just the fact that people could put up a video or, like I said, a news article and have all these people, hundreds of people commenting, giving dialogue back and forth, like talking about things and networking off of that. Like once you find like people who match your mentality, what you're trying to do, like that's what you gravitate towards, and that's what you find, and that's what feeds on like that community that is trying to make things, you know, better.
Exactly.
Absolutely. No, there's a lot of great things going on, and I think it's going to continue to progress.
I don't know, I don't have the right word for this, but I wonder when we say, well, we want to get the people's minds right, is that your place too? Do you feel like that's a person's place to say, I'm going to get the people's minds right?
I feel like most people.
Do you feel like you have a responsibility even?
First of all, that's a phenomenal question. I don't know. I feel like I just want to use my gift to influence the world. So, and I know that's a vague comment, but it's just how I feel. So, yes, of course, getting the people mind right is probably my perspective. But I think my heart is in a good place. So I think the universe will reward me if I work hard enough. Now, I think this is fact. I don't even think that this is perception.
I'm asking, do you feel like it's one person's job? I'm not even saying you specifically, but do you feel like it could be one person's job to take and better another person's situation, in spite of, let's say, their ignorance about what opportunities are available to
So
them?
you're asking, do you think it's their job?
Do you feel like
I feel
as human beings we have a moral obligation to one another to be each other's keeper on a human level?
I believe. All right, maybe it's not about it being human, but people that you care for, I believe so. That's just my personal opinion. Yes.
So, on a human level, it's a moral obligation of sorts to take care of the people that you care about.
The most that you can without hurting yourself. Yes.
Without hurting yourself.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So now, a person that you care about has been through life struggles, right? We've all been through different
Of course.
degrees of life struggles.
Absolutely.
This person has been through, life has drop kicked them in the face a couple of times.
Absolutely.
Right? And this person has, in turn, given up on life or fighting the good fight to do for themselves. Right?
Yes.
Is it still your obligation to take care of that person when they could be taking care of themselves, but they're not willing to take on that burden because of...
Jeez, I hope. First of all, I just want to say I hope that's not a situation I ever have to come across. But as me growing, I understand that I'm gonna be faced with that situation one day. It hasn't happened to me yet where it hurt me to cut somebody off, because obviously that's what you have to do. Because what you're describing is pretty much that person is dead weight to you. You know what I mean? That person's an anchor to you. If you're trying to grow and a person that you care about and that you got attached to you is still in their ignorant ways, they're an anchor. And I believe that, yeah, you pretty much going to have to cut ties. Now, it's all up. You're going to have to use your discretion and figure out when is that time to let them go.
Right.
But unfortunately, yes, you're going to have to let that person go eventually, yes. And it's going to be tough to do, man, but it's essential for your growth. We got to cut people off one day.
So as a black community now,
Yes.
who do we cut off? Who's the dead weight?
Man, all those motherfuckers. I think we know the answer to that question. Those motherfuckers they stuck in their ways. They stuck in their ignorance. I think those people are easy to identify. Now, can I give a specific example? Let me give a specific example. I don't know. I guess those Ray Rays and Pookies. I think you just gotta leave them alone. You understand me? If they not willing to change, I'm just keeping a buck. You know, if they not willing to change, them Ray Rays and them Pookies that just want to be hypersexualized, that just want to spread their seed without taking their children. These type of men, and these type of men, we just gotta leave alone, man. We just gotta leave them. Nah, I'm being for real though. We just gotta.
No, I realize I put you like.
Nah, man, I understand.
Put it in a ring of fire.
No, listen, I'm keeping it a buck. This is what we do here on the Talk Your Ish podcast.
You know, naturally, you won't have to cut anybody off, right? Because it's just like, you know, this lady, Sister Bev, says to me, because she has her employees, she's like, I don't have to fire anybody. They fire themselves. And how do they do that? Because when we first established your role here and my role, there's certain things laid out on what kind of behavior you're supposed to show and what your job entails. Now, if you don't do what we discussed in our agreement, which is our covenant, then you go outside of our agreement. That creates the firing, right? So you're telling me, what you're communicating to me is that you're not a fit for this particular thing that we're doing here, this environment, because you're breaking the agreement.
Now, hold on now.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on now.
Go ahead.
That was phenomenal. That's ideal. But sometimes...
No, it's not ideal. I'm saying, let me finish.
All right, go ahead, brother.
What I say, we don't have to cut anybody off, is meaning that if you're on a certain frequency or on a certain vibration,
yes.
Right, they're not going to want to deal with you anyway. That's why some people, you know what I mean? Like, you salad, or you be like, let's go to the park and eat some fruit. I ain't trying to do that. You ain't even gotta say I'm not. You could just offer that to them, that life, that way of life that you feel it will benefit them, and they will be like, no. They be like, I'm good, my G. Like, I don't want to. What's coconut? I don't want to taste that. Or vegan. That's vegan. Or that's nasty. So people will automatically reject whatever it is that you're giving to them.
But E, what if you have a connection with somebody that may not, pertain to that?
What do you mean?
For example,
like in a relationship?
Yeah, in a relationship. Yeah, friendship. Yeah, friendship is a relationship. So yes, in the relationship.
Yeah.
So say, okay, they don't partake in the things that I eat.
Like I said, these people will fall. I'm telling you, they'll remove themselves from you because you don't have that commonality. It's just like I noticed when I stopped smoking weed like that and drinking alcohol, my friends ain't want to hang with me like that. They ain't calling me and say, "Yo, come through." But when we had that commonality thing, that that thing that they love doing, then it was like, "Yo, come through." But when I stopped doing that, it's not me. I still can hang with you, but because I don't do that, they don't want to hang with me. I'm a square now. I'm boring. You see what I'm saying? So that's where I realized you don't have to read no books. You don't gotta go to the Himalayas to realize this. You can just, when you sit back in your sober mind, you be like, wow. Cause you're gonna start to get those feelings. You're gonna start to be like, I don't want to be around these, right? You might start.
Oh
feeling,
yeah, I'm
but
going
then
to do it now.
And then you're gonna realize you don't even gotta do it. They will not want to deal with you because you don't have that commonality no more. That's where your relationship lies. Just like somebody that you may be intimate with, but you can't communicate with them. You can't have a conversation with them about any real thing of substance, but y'all can have this sensual thing going on, right? Mm-hmm. The moment that is off the table, what do you have? They don't want to deal with you. They don't, because it's like, what is this?
And, honestly, I'm trying to eradicate that now from my life. And we had conversations all the time that I'm trying to eradicate that aspect of my life though. But you know what I mean?
So people are going to remove themselves
absolutely,
from you.
Yes.
And the people that are still dealing with toxicity, the best thing we could do is have compassion for them. And we got the world don't need no more condemners. We need more redeemers. So the way we do that by redeeming people is being an example, right? Not being available when they have these questions, because it's the same people that didn't want the salads and all that now.
Oh yeah.
Now you seen.
And I'm going through it too.
You seen a homie the other day when we was on the block.
Yeah.
He was asking me, "Yo, what can I blah blah blah." I ain't gonna say his name.
Yeah, we don't.
But he was asking me,
You know what I'm saying?
And that's how it be. And I'm receptive to that, regardless. You know what I mean? Because you have to have compassion. You have to be accessible to your friends and families, regardless of where they at in their life, because eventually they're gonna see hopefully eventually they're gonna see the road that they're on. It's an endless path.
Right, absolutely.
Right?
Yo, E, let me tell you this, man.
Yeah.
And this what inspired me to go hard. Nay, remember that they didn't want to listen to none of this shit. Yo, E, you was in the room with me. Yeah, you was in the room with me.
He's a tough.
When that motherfucker said, "Yo, Smooth, you inspired me," it was like, oh nah, the universe is talking to me. I gotta go hard now. He's like, nah, you don't know this gentleman though, but he was the most knucklehead person in the world when it came to this health shit. So now he's starting to mess with the Dr. Brown and soap now. Now I know that's a small step. I know it's a small step, but it's somewhere.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, I gotta go hard with this now, because if I can affect a person like this, imagine what can I do if I'm getting my shit together. So man, listen, man. So I take these little things and it motivates me, man. So I'm gonna ride out, man. I'm gonna ride out for the people. I swear to God, man.
Yeah, you just gotta keep being an example. That's
Absolutely.
The best thing we could do is be accessible when people need that help. They need insight into something. You know what I mean? Like,
right. I'm not gonna turn the cold shoulder. Like, nah.
Exactly.
Don't you want to fuck with? Nah, you're not gonna do that.
Right.
Cause I'm not in it for the ego. Exactly. I'm not in it for the ego, man. Right. I truly do want the world to be better. I think that's what we all want, right? At the end of the day, right? All these people of substance.
Right. And you have a lot of people that say that, but then you look at their lives. They're not.
I don't think
they're not doing anything.
Right. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's a contradiction there. You know what I mean? So we have to be,
be about it.
Be about it. Exactly. You gotta be about it.
Yeah, you gotta be about it. That's the key voice. You know what I'm saying?
So hopefully, by being an example and being about it, the change will happen. We will inspire, influence.
That's all I want to do, man.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So how we looking on?
On the time, I don't know. I'm having a good time, man. This is fun, man. For real, I'm having a good time. Boss, man, how we looking on time, boss?
Oh, okay, we good.
All right, how much time we got left? All right. Oh, all right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So, you know, man, let's get into some dialogue. So, I want to talk about this cleanse real quick. So now I'm trying to drop this project called 20 Days of Godliness. So right now, I'm going through a cleanse right now. It's a raw vegan cleanse. So for 20 days, I'm only going to consume raw vegan foods.
So what does that breakfast, lunch, and dinner look like?
So, it varies. So for the people that don't understand what raw veganism is, you're only consuming nuts, seeds, vegetables, and fruits, and of course water. And I believe teas count too. So it's only those things raw, and this is non-processed neither. So in its raw natural state, nuts, fruits, seeds, and vegetables. That's it. That's all I'm consuming. So my breakfast is normally would be probably just water, and I'd make a smoothie or I'd drink a green juice. I would blend the green juice. I would use green apples, kale, cucumbers, parsley. Sometimes I put in my drink with wheatgrass powder. So now my lunches and I snack on dry fruit and nuts and seeds throughout the day, but then the lunches and the dinners I would make a big ass salad. Mm-hmm. So the salads pretty much kale, you know, the red bell peppers, red onions, sometimes sweet onions, tomatoes, all the good stuff. Pretty much raw vegetables. And I use this diet to heal myself. And man, when I tell you, my mind is much sharper. Oh, and of course, I incorporated this into my 20-day diet too. Of course, celibacy, no social media.
This is all wrapped into...
Yes, this is all wrapped into one. So I call it 20 Days of Godliness because it's only you and yourself. It's only you and God. Most of the time, though. But of course, I'm still on YouTube. But I'm only watching motivational stuff to enhance my craft. So things of that nature. So, man, when I tell you my mind is just moving different, especially without the social media. Because
so it's been 20 days of no social media.
12.
Well, 12. I'm on day 12.
Right, he on day 12.
But by the time I'm done, yes, it will be 20. Okay. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. And the social media, without the social media, my mind is just moving so wonderfully. It's just so incredible. But at the same time, you know, I like to.
You're missing out.
Yeah, I feel like I'm missing out, and I missed that little bit of poison. So I mean, and then just this thing, semen retention. I don't know if you heard about this though, but you know, I mean, our semen is a gift from God. You know what I'm saying? At least that's how I see it as. I know a lot of men wouldn't agree with me. I had said that on a podcast that I used to do on Demon Talk. It's like, Carl, you fucking lost your mind. You supposed to ejaculate, you know what I mean, one time a day.
Right.
Carl Smooth, whatever they would refer to me as. What? What? Hell no. You gotta, you know, pass your seed out everywhere. At least that's what we were taught. And I'm starting to realize, like, yo, I feel so powerful. I used to think that shit was bullshit too. All this celibacy talk, and I used to think that shit was nonsense. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I do think it's nonsense because some people just like to manipulate. Yeah. Now that's a whole subject for a whole nother podcast. We could spend a whole podcast on that. Right. But we gonna talk about this right now. But yeah, it's phenomenal. So I want everybody to try to experience that. So I'm gonna try and drop a little documentary about what to experience. And of course I take these herbs with it. Now these are the herbs. I don't know if you heard about this store. Now they got different capsules to target different areas of the body to heal.
Okay.
But now, as I'm starting to learn about herbs, I don't think I need these guys anymore. Now I can do my own research and understand what herb to take to
make your own formula.
To make my own formula and to attack whatever region in my body I feel that needs healing.
So, yeah, exactly.
So that cost me a little bit of money too. That was $120. Wow. Yeah. So shit, I think it'd be a little bit cheaper to buy my own herbs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can you be healthy on a budget?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed.
It's going to be difficult. And there's going to be some times where you might have to eat some conventional fruits, you know what I'm saying? Non-organic. Well, it depends. It depends on your situation. It actually does vary, but for the most part, yes, I believe so.
Yeah, you know,
be healthy.
You know what I realized. You know, through fasting is that the most important part of this health thing is the mental health. It's your state of mind. That's where you want to be right. That's where you really want to focus on.
Yes.
Your thoughts, you know, your self-doubt, your insecurities,
Absolutely.
you know, your conditioning from your social settings and stuff like that. You know, your fears and all these things. You know what I mean? Like, you got to deal with that stuff. And when you fast, or if you even take psychedelics, you're gonna deal with the internal. You're gonna deal with the internal things that's going on inside of you, with what's in the mind, the madness there. You know.
Sometimes when I smoke weed, I'm just so I start thinking about mad negative things sometimes.
Yeah.
And marijuana is a psychedelic. It is a psychedelic,
Right.
though.
So whatever you, because you know we can pick up a lot of negative things along the way. In our travels, what we watch is subtle things that's, you know, we store in our subconscious. So you could think you rejected something, right? But you actually didn't.
So it was like subconscious grabbed it.
Right.
Yes.
So what psychedelics will do is bring that stuff to the surface. You see what I'm saying? Especially the stuff you don't want to deal with, past trauma and stuff like that you may have suppressed, you know.
Right.
So
we all do it. We all suppress. I think we all suppress our traumas.
Yeah, we do. You know, if we don't have no input from maybe an elder or something to show us how to deal with the trauma, to rid ourselves of the trauma, to cleanse of it, then, you know, the natural thing we would do is to bury it, you know, because we don't have no guidance on how to deal with it. You know, it's traumatic, especially if it's our first time. So that gets buried, and then we have another situation, and then that becomes the how we deal with it. We just put it somewhere. Just put it over there in a drawer. You know what I mean?
It comes out subconsciously through our behavior.
Right. And psychedelics open up the drawers, baby. Open the closets.
But I'm scared though, man. The mushrooms, man. Yo, E, I want to fuck with them, but man, I'm scared, man.
Try microdosing first.
Oh, look at Isha over there. Let me find out. Hold on.
Nah, man, I'm scared, man. I understand I understand,
that's a pro term she used. Micro dose. I like that.
I don't know,
Yeah, she's right though.
I don't know, man.
But he has to get rid of that fear first.
Yeah, if you're scared, then don't do it.
Yeah, because it could be a bad experience.
Being with your thoughts is scary in itself sometimes.
It is. Yeah, it is.
If
right?
you want to know how far you can go inside your own mind,
right?
Mushrooms will let you know.
So
has the ability to let you know.
Okay, so obviously this young lady has had some experience with that. Yeah. So do you have any advice for me?
Be in a good space.
Yeah.
How long would it last?
Be around someone or people that you trust.
Okay, and how long would it last? How long?
Like 6 hours.
6 hours.
No,
6 hours.
That is scary as shit.
It's a journey. Like when people say it's a trip, it's a journey. It's a journey.
Yeah.
Damn, I wish we could get this shit on camera, man. Damn, this shit's died. Oh,
yeah.
Man. But I mean, at least we got the audio. So what are some things that you learned about yourself when you took that trip? What was one thing that you learned?
That I am my own worst enemy, and that because no one else can call me out on the things that I can call myself out on, I could paint the smile on my face and present myself as perfect to the world. But if you yourself know that you're not living right, or that there's certain principles that you know that you're not living up to, and it's like past, like, or maybe it is biology, but like it's ingrained, like there's some things in you that you will never do, or no matter how tempting things will seem, like you just never will take that road, and it's something ingrained in you.
Yes.
But if you don't have to let everybody know about it, there's no one to say that you did it or not. Only you.
Right.
And does that matter? Can you live with that when you're dying? It's something that, like, a question. I feel like when
That's
you're
a
when
good
you're
question.
on psychedelics, like you
Good
ask
question.
questions, and if the music is right, you know, your mind flowing, you're on your different trains of thoughts in your head, like you'll get answers to those questions that you ask.
Are you?
But the way you get those answers to those questions are sort of like how light comes through a crystal.
Okay, so are you asking these questions verbally, or are you asking them in your head?
In your head.
Okay, 'cause that was gonna be my next question. What if you reveal some shit that you kind of didn't want the world to know, and you're like, oh shit. So like that don't sound good to me. So you know what I'm saying?
But at the end of the day, the truth will set you free.
Right. See, well, you got to be willing with psychedelics too. You got to be willing to get
Be
naked.
honest.
Yeah, you
Be
got to
real
get naked.
honest with yourself.
Yeah, you got to be willing to get naked, man. Like you can't be, you know.
Because you trying to cover up yourself to your own mind
Exactly.
is what could drive you, like,
Yeah.
Insane.
yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just, I at the end of the day, I think I'm fine with myself and the decisions I made in life. But at the same time, what if, I don't know. First of all, now actually, most of us probably did some shit like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I think most of us will have, you know, one of those type of things. And what if I start thinking about it and it's just, I don't know, it's just so many what ifs I have in my mind. And it's kind of scary to me.
Until you try it.
Huh?
So you won't know it till you try
Oh.
it. But
Yeah. I mean, there's other things too. You don't have this.
yeah, and everything's
Mushroom.
not for everybody. So
Right.
maybe mushrooms is or is not.
Nah,
for
fuck
you.
that. Because honestly, I just want to conquer all my fears, honestly. And that's one of
Right.
the things I want to accomplish in life, too.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, you know, maybe that might have to be one of them, man.
Or figuring out what fears are worth adhering to and which ones you should push past. Because not all fears are unhealthy. It's healthy for you to teach a child to be afraid of fire, like a large fire, because they can hurt themselves. Type of
Right.
Mm.
But you want to understand that fire can also heat up the house and heat your food up.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. We digging deep tonight, man. For real.
As we should.
As you
Absolutely.
should.
Right. You know?
Yeah, man. So E,
I have conversations with a 3-year-old, so this is the most grown-up, intellectually stimulating conversation
you know that this feels good
of
for
quarantine.
Right. Right.
real. For real, man. I can't wait till I smoke weed again, though. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, nah, I'm fine with it. I have more discipline. You know what I mean? Even when I'm regular, like, you know, I don't smoke every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. I feel like sometimes, like I said, this is why I call it 20 days of godliness, because it's completely sober. It's just me and my thoughts. And I think that's beautiful sometimes. And a lot of times I'll be figuring shit out, though, what I need to do, what I
Yeah.
need to stay away from. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just so much peace of mind. And it's just,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think that's what most of us aspire for, peace of mind.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You got to remove the clutter to get there. You know, you got to remove all that clutter,
Right.
and you know, depending on how you approach it, that'll determine what kind of results you get. What methodology you use to get there. You know, there's different ways you could do it. There's no one way to that place you're trying to get to. And I
Right.
think it's to a place of balance for all of us.
Absolutely.
You know.
And it's the real dialogue that you have with yourself to say, should I push myself harder or I'm not going to push myself harder? But it's you. So it's like, if you don't push yourself harder, what does that mean for you?
Yeah.
Versus you not pushing it harder at all. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right.
There was recently, and I found this amazing. Like recently, I had went to a party, right, and this is during my cleanse. So this was I'm gonna say a week ago. Actually, it was a week ago to today. It was a Halloween party, and of course I was sober, and this was kind of sad. This was kind of sad that some of my coworkers were amazed that I could have a good time sober. And it kind of made me feel like, wow, like damn, I can't go one day without being sober. And it kind of made me feel a way, like, damn, I don't know what feeling
Like, look at us adults. Like, we used to be children having fun with, like,
Sober.
sticks and dirt. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Forever until we started
Nothing.
smoking, drinking, and stuff.
Exactly.
And now it's
we
like,
lost that.
Exactly.
you didn't be at a party sober? What's wrong? Like,
Right.
Yeah,
That's
and that's actually
wild.
quite sad.
Yeah.
It kind of made me
That's
feel
the-
kind of sad.
that's
to
the same-
enjoy, we
right.
have to be, like, under.
And that's the same thing too with male and female relations. Like when we was teenagers, a kiss is like orgasmic, right?
Right.
That's just like explosive. Like you tell your friends
I
you all
don't kiss
give.
as an adult. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I'm like
That-
mono,
that becomes like,
dirty
oh,
mama.
Right. But these little things, that, just arm around, just that was like, wow. And then we lose that,
I think we just become desensitized.
Yeah, we do.
That's why, like, every once in a blue, when you do find yourself on those really long 3-hour conversations with someone, you're like, damn, this is back in the day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
before call waiting, because now we
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
do, we
Oh,
don't
shit.
talk that long on
Say
the
before
phone
call
anymore.
waiting.
Not at all.
No, yeah.
And I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I like to speak in person though. I can't get down with all this technology.
Right.
Shit, I can't get jiggy with that shit,
So are you,
man.
like, FaceTiming all the time? Or?
No, I'd rather meet
In person. He liked to be in the person. Yeah,
Yes,
in person.
like,
yeah.
and then when I'm to myself, I'm to myself. I'm shut off from the world. I'm one of those type of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm shut off from the world. Yo, if I want to come see somebody, I'll come see you. I'll come see you. But I don't like to be on the phone for 5 hours. His brother, sometimes he's on the phone for a long time. And sometimes I give him hell for that sometimes. I'll be like, yo, how you on the phone for like 4 hours? Like, I can't even fathom that.
Right.
I can't fathom it at all. Like, yo, how you do that? How you on the phone for 4 hours with somebody?
Right. You rather talk in person for
I'd
4
rather
hours.
talk in person so I
Yeah,
can
I
see
get
the
you.
facial expressions.
I get you. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? You want more of an
Also,
organic
yeah,
experience.
like I said, I'm a Rasta, man. I think I'm a Rasta at heart, man. For real. Man, I love the
doubt.
herbs, man.
No doubt.
Yeah, man.
So
It's coconut.
how you feel about, and in terms of conformity in the workplace with you as a woman, a sister, with the hair and stuff like that, and not conforming and actually expressing yourself,
expressing yourself.
like because you will have to deal with that.
Right.
So you can speak into it, you know what I mean?
What do people say? Yeah.
I get complimented all the time,
Okay.
which is ridiculous because sometimes I really don't bother, and I
You're not
just
looking for it, right?
didn't
you're not
try
even
to
trying.
put a pick in.
Right,
Yeah,
you're
and
not
they're
even
like,
trying.
Oh, I love it, and I'm like,
You understand
much.
why though, right? You understand why though, right?
it's an afro. I don't know what to make of it,
Right.
but I don't know. I've been in education, and now I'm in workforce development.
Okay.
So it's workforce development is probably as corporate as I've gotten, but it's still not like working for Credit Suisse or JP Morgan, where I feel like they would, or Goldman Sachs, where I feel like
Be more
they definitely,
well, hone in on it, right? Like
yeah, like
Home in on it in a positive way or negative?
No, like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
unprofessional.
don't think so. And
like I feel like certain fields that are more lenient or more lax about that, like teaching.
Yeah,
I've seen male dreads.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right,
Guy with
that's
dreads
right.
teaching,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, but
everybody had one
The
dread teacher.
entities you name, I feel they
Goldman
would be.
Sachs,
Yeah,
though, yeah, nah,
they
it's
would.
not
They would
happening.
be more.
She'd be all right at Chase.
I don't know, bro.
Yes, she would.
It
She'd
dep-
be all right at
Maybe,
Chase.
what you talking about? Like as a teller or?
As
As
a teller.
or like corporate.
But in
Right,
a management,
corporate.
yeah.
No, we
they
talking
might
about.
have-
That's what we
yeah,
talking
they might,
about.
Yeah, they might have a little problem. They
Right.
might have a little problem
Right.
with that.
You know,
Yeah.
like, and also, have you seen that like in certain not just states but even in like Jamaica, they want to make a law to ban like locks and natural, these things.
In Jamaica, they
And
want
right,
the law
the
to
lock
ban
capital
it?
of the world.
What?
Yes.
Why? What is such the controversy
Because
about the?
there is a misperception about Jamaica and Jamaican people. We think it's just Jamaican people we see over here that's with it and with the culture, but you have a lot of European-minded Jamaicans that's controlling the administrative or management aspect of the country, the government aspect of it, a lot of sellouts.
So they want to
Yes, and they don't like natural. They not with it. They bald heads. They, you know what I mean? They clean. They European. They got suits and ties on
But
and
to
stuff like
ban
that.
it, yeah. So why would
Right.
a Rasta even want to work in like a sector that
But
they would have to?
it's a
like,
school though. They send their children to school.
Okay,
They
okay.
trying to put it in the school. They cannot come to school with locks. That's what they want to do in
So it's a
Jamaica.
trap. So
That's
they have no
That's
choice.
crazy, right? That's crazy. That
Jamaica
is,
corrupt as a motherfucker.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then there was
motherfucker.
one boy here. He was playing on the football team.
Well, he's a wrestler.
He's a wrestler,
He's a
and they
wrestler.
said he couldn't wrestle unless he cut his hair. He did it because he loved wrestling, you know, and he was like whatever. But you know that kind of dynamic is going on, and it's just
Yeah.
like
That's awful.
yeah, but at the same time, I feel like you can choose where you want to work,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you can choose, and just like the people could choose whether or not they're gonna hire you, you can choose whether you want to be in an establishment, work in a place where you already know you're gonna have to cut your hair. You already know you're gonna have to get a perm. Like, so instead of you trying to be that person, like
That's disgusting.
to be the warrior, like
Get a
combat it, it's like
Choose somewhere
find
else.
your own. Yeah,
Yeah,
find
find your
another
own.
job, start your own business,
yeah, exactly.
work for self. If you are working for self, you don't have to adhere to anything.
But not everybody has that. How should I say? Not everybody has that passion to work for themselves. Some people just want to be employees for the rest of their lives and die.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But even
So
just
then, if you are going to be an employee, then it's up to you to still choose where you are going to be.
Right,
putting
do
in
your
time.
research on
Yeah.
No,
the
you
company.
should.
Yeah.
You should. Now, of course, I agree with you guys, but I have to be the devil's advocate. So you know,
No, I feel
Because
you.
there's
Yeah,
some
so,
companies
you know.
that will accept you as you are,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some that won't. So you got to do your due
some
diligence.
people don't want.
Yeah.
Some people gonna be like, "Oh, nah, fuck that, man."
And they are like more progressive,
Yeah.
and again, it's different industries. Like nonprofits, I would say,
Right,
like
right.
they're a lot more lenient towards different
Right.
ethnocentric
Yeah,
hairstyles or
yeah.
whatnot.
And also what helps too is the fact that people are exposing it. So they're more sensitive to public opinion now because it goes viral. So if a sister say, "Oh yeah, I went to go to Chase, or I was working at Chase, and they made a big deal out of my hair or whatever," and that
Oh,
goes
yeah.
around,
Yeah,
then they
it's
gonna be
over.
like, "Hold on, we sorry," like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's more of like we can't.
But if you came to that
Right.
interview with a helicopter hairstyle,
Right.
Helicopter.
would you have made it hot like there in the first place?
Right. But what if you was hired already, and I mean, let's say you came in there and you had, you know, the
Let's say
perm,
you had
and then
your-
you was like, you know what, I'm just going
Exactly.
natural.
Right.
or you had your hair now and you decided to lock that
Yeah.
after you was hired.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's.
But then I feel like it's messed up, but the employer still has the right to say, like, hey, this isn't exactly the fit that I was going for my company. So
Absolutely. And I mean, we're their slave in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm just
yeah, if
being
you're
real.
working for them, but if you're like trying to figure out, I mean, this is a very uncomfortable space to be in right now for me too, because I want to have my own business and to be self-employed. And
I think we all-
right
yeah.
now I'm working in a corporation of
Me
sorts,
too.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like killing my soul because it's just like, I don't want to work for somebody. I want to work for myself. I want to have like my own stuff
Right.
together. To
But at
pass
the
on
same
myself.
time, we do it out of that fear of not having. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
it's just,
And my
you know?
stakes are a little higher because
Right, absolutely. Because you got a child.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You got to maintain the essentials. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that just makes me want to push harder because when I look at him, I don't want someone to say an hour of his life is worth $15.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah.
My son, who I like went to work for to put here on earth, like, you're gonna tell me an hour of his life is worth 15? No, like,
Absolutely
I
not.
want to be able
He needs to
to
control
put him
his
in
destiny.
a position where he can say, like,
Right.
I'll do this project for you. It'll be X amount.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm grinding for. I don't want my child because I worked in maintenance for 3 years at the airport,
Right.
It was the worst job I ever had. It was just these niggas talk to us crazy, racist. I done deal with a lot of shit in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just disgusting. And I would never want my child to experience what I experienced. Cleaning up after people. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, there's no shame in that though. But if you have your own business and you're controlling, the dynamics of it, then yeah, that's fine. Like, all right, yeah, me and my crew, we're gonna come and clean this stuff, and we're gonna charge X amount, just like what you said. I believe that's fine. But for me to get paid an hourly wage and they tell us go do this and go do that,
Right.
man, don't even get me started. That's a whole nother podcast in itself. My days at JFK Airport.
Right.
Oh God,
Right.
that's trauma right there.
I can only imagine the story.
Yeah, man, listen. But yeah, man. It's just I want to thank you guys for coming in today, man. For real, man.
No doubt.
I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
welcome.
grateful too. I'm grateful too. The dialogue with both of y'all,
Man, it's great. We didn't even get to talk about everything that I wanted to, and I didn't even get to set it up.
Well,
I wanted to set it up.
We gotta have more time.
Yeah,
for
we
that.
gotta do this again.
Yes.
This is a must.
I'll be happy, sir.
Yeah, we got the chemistry. We got the chemistry going.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
Right.
Going to Dual Express? During the week?
Yeah,
Right.
man.
Dual Express?
dual specialties.
Dual specialties, sorry.
Dual specialties.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It seems like I didn't even expect you to be this, articulate and intelligent.
Thank you.
Right, I mean, this is
think.
no, but not in a
Like, what
bad
are
way.
we supposed to say? I know.
not in a bad way, but you know.
I'm just giving you shit.
Yeah, I know, but like, man, this is phenomenal, man, and just hopefully, but what we're here to do is to inspire. Now I know, and I like that you raised that question. That do you feel like it's our obligation? I don't know. In my soul, I feel like yes, it is my obligation. Yes.
So in your soul, you are your brother's keeper.
I believe so. Yeah, it's just I just have this burning desire to help the people. Now, of course, I'm not gonna be at everybody's doorstep. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you need to do this, you need to do that, though. But I just want to do my part. You know what I mean? Some of my family's giving me shit because I ain't vote or whatever. And let me address that real quick. We got
time. We got time. For that?
Yeah, I believe we have time.
Oh,
So-
he said.
All right, we got you.
good.
We
So
got
we
you.
good.
All
So we
right, I
good.
got
So
you.
we
I got you.
good.
Got you.
Okay.
So let me get this
Just wanna
straight,
make
right?
sure.
Cool. All right, I'm not exercising my so-called right for my voice to be heard, right?
Right.
Cool. So you mean to tell me a motherfucker that doesn't do shit, slaves away in the Matrix and just comes home, play video games, but he went and voted, and I'm trying to do all this, and he's making more of a difference than I am? That's bullshit. Man, they better get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Like, that really upsets me, man. And
So you didn't vote because why?
why? Because I don't subscribe to politics anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get my mind out of the Matrix, man, because that's just my perception on it. It's just Matrix is just all a dirty game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The Republican, Democrat, Bloods, Crips. Honestly, in my mind, in my eyes, it's the same shit.
Right.
If you ask me.
Listen.
So you didn't vote because you don't entertain politics in
That's
any way,
correct.
shape, or form. Okay.
Right, and then I feel like there's other ways that I can make a difference on this planet.
So to people who would say, but why not exercise your right?
To vote that my ancestors died for. Yes.
Or okay,
yeah.
you can take it there.
I
I wasn't going to, but okay.
Nah.
The other side of that too is why not exercise your right not to vote?
Exactly.
I have a choice.
Exactly.
It's a
I have a choice.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, I have a
That's
know what I'm
choice.
good.
saying?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
And I understand, but at the same time, I feel like I wasn't alive, so it's just real difficult. Yeah, I get that shit a lot though. Oh yeah, your ancestors died for you to have the right to vote.
I mean, that's a vague term. It's a vague term because it's not really true.
Because they died for their freedom. Yeah, of
A
course.
lot of times they died just because they existed. Majority of the times they died. They hung them. Oh, well, you're in this neighborhood. Get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hang them. It's not because he's trying to go stand and go at the ballot. No, you whistled at a white woman. This is the context of when we hear these stories. It's not around voting. It's around because you did something to a white woman, or you was in the wrong neighborhood, or you was fighting for some sort of injustice, or you was a pastor that was speaking out wrongly about the Ku Klux Klan. This is what the stories, are made up of. You know what I mean? Like this is what the context is. It's never around because they was on a line and they was trying to vote for, I don't know, Roosevelt or one of these guys, and somebody grabbed them out of the line and killed them. It's like, never what? That context. It's never that storyline. Of course not. So to say that, it's not true. It's a very vague statement, and it's also misleading, and it's manipulative at the same time.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they didn't die for that. They died for a whole lot of other things that have way more of an impact on our social political condition now that we're not addressing, that we don't want to even talk about. You know what I mean? Like, or come together to work towards, which is a lot of these laws that's on the books or whatever. Right. You see what I'm saying? So, or they also died because they were trying to establish their real identity. Mm-hmm. They wasn't with this whole Negro, colored, African American, black stuff. They knew who they were at one particular time.
Ooh, that's going to be one of my next questions. What should we call ourselves? Because that's been a debate for eons.
Right.
What should we call ourselves? The original people, the melanated people, colored, black, African American.
Can we just start with human beings?
No, of course.
Can we just really just start with human beings?
Of course.
Yeah, we could do away with that. We could definitely deal with that and not be so into labeling and categorizing. But that's the social climate.
Because at this point,
it's a social construct.
It is because you look 3-4 generations back, somebody in your family was white. Whether it's because they was raping,
of course.
You understand what I'm saying? Like you got white people in your family, I got white people in my family.
Yeah, of course.
Generations in. White people got black people in their family. Like, all of us are just, what are we talking about anymore? What are we talking about? Like, we are all, especially in this country, like.
The melting pot. So they say.
So they say.
Yeah, so they say they're in a melting pot.
So they say,
Yeah, but.
I think, what I think it is with our people is more so because we've been told so long who we are. People want be self-determined. They want to determine who they are. They tired of people saying, and then it's the social commentary around that identity, because it comes with a stigma, being whatever this is. Yeah. So it's natural for people to say, I don't want to identify with this anymore because to the world, I'm looked at as this. And I this is not my definition of me. This is what these people
the Matrix says.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This is what they betray me to be, through media and so on and so forth.
So let me ask y'all this. Do you believe race is an illusion?
Race?
Yes.
In terms of what? As it being an illusion?
In terms of, because we're all human, though. It being an illusion, like, oh, I'm a black man. Because this is what we're taught. We're taught. Babies don't understand race. Am I correct?
Right.
Babies don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Babies don't understand race. You see pictures all the time. A black baby hug a white baby, Asian baby hug whatever. They don't understand race.
Yeah, we taught race.
Is this a social construct?
It is indeed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is a social construct. It's an illusion. So
right. It is
there's
social.
no biology to it.
Right.
So pretty much it is an illusion.
I mean, unless you want to get into like the whole, you got melanin, so you have
there is
65 magical superpowers.
I
and you
mean,
can hear and and these people don't have any melanin. Like, how is that helping anybody?
At the end of the day, I think a lot of people just want to feel superior to other people. And that,
It's reverse racism, if anything, at that point.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, though.
Right. Biologically, we
Black
are
people,
different.
you are special. White people, you are special. Asian people, you are special. Can we just...
All of us do different things better
Like,
than... Yo,
we
for
got
real.
babies coming into this world. Like, can we just get it together?
Right.
Honestly.
Right.
No, love. I wish. For real, man, I wish. But,
Yeah.
you know...
Yeah. I mean, you know.
And then, you know what, too? You think Asian people be having these conversations about race that black people be having?
Of course.
Hell fucking no.
No, they do.
I don't believe it.
They do.
Hell yeah.
I don't believe it. I feel like they let
We all have these conversations, no matter
They
what
make their
background.
money talk for them. They make their situation talk
I'll
for
say
them.
this. They wasn't tripping about the president of the United States.
I mean, this it
That
depends.
you don't know. But
That's true.
In,
Yes.
their communities,
but the way
they
we
don't give a
talk
fuck
about
about that
race is
shit.
like whether
Bro.
our race
Bro,
is
come on,
holding
bro.
us back from success.
No,
as individuals or as a collective.
I've been lost that train of thought. That's not even in my mind no more. But bro, hold on. But back to that though. So you think these people that got communities set up lovely? We talking about the Jewish community. We talking about the Asian community.
Of course they do.
You think they care?
Yeah, because policies dictate
Yeah.
their conditions tomorrow.
That's true in a sense. Yes.
So everybody is concerned
Domestic
about
trade, international
Yeah,
trade.
exactly.
No, that's true.
all that stuff. So everybody's concerned, of course, you know. But if they're not just concerned about the president, they're also concerned about the body of his administration that comes with that.
Right.
They're also concerned about the senators that comes with that, the Supreme Court justices that come with that, because they're not looking at it from this, this figurehead perspective, where they think that this guy who talks all the time is really controlling everything.
Of course not.
They
we
see
know
that
this, though.
it's a body
Right.
with different moving parts, right? So a lot of the investor interest goes into the main part that's really influencing a lot of decisions. We
Okay.
put it into just that figurehead and say, oh, this is where it's at.
That's why I was trying to get at.
And
Yeah.
so we got caught up in the presidential Biden-Trump debate, but we don't know who we're voting for on a local level.
Yeah.
If you do go
Right, exactly, and
Right.
that's what the
vote.
politics. I think that does matter.
It does.
Yeah, so let me correct myself. I
Yeah.
do think voting matters on the local level.
Yeah.
But in terms of these figureheads, man, come on, man. Like, but the administrations do make an impact. I do understand that. So, for example, how the Asian community probably don't fuck with Trump because I'm pretty sure that he had put many tariffs. Has he though? Has he put tariffs?
I mean,
on,
at one
the-
particular time, there was a tariff war. It could still be going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we still got smoke with them though.
But
so I
to
hear.
say that's a very general statement to say the Asian community, because there's so many different ethnicities that come out of there. So specifically,
So, yeah, when I
with
meant- when I
the
say
Trump,
that, I meant
it's
the
more so
Chinese.
with China.
Yeah, the Chinese.
You know what I mean? Like that was affected by those tariffs and stuff like that. So are they still in effect? I don't know. But their contribution to the American economy is huge. It's huge.
How do we do the research on the administration where they favor certain countries more than others?
Follow the money.
Okay, so you be like, okay, so explain that.
Meaning that where you see a vested interest going, or where you see in more so supportive behavior upon imports or exports coming into this country, where you see where somebody can even give it to us for cheaper, but they still go with that particular group or country.
Right, they have a connection.
Yeah, of course.
Like how they say Trump had a connection to Putin in Russia.
Putin, yeah, exactly. So when you see certain things like that, you see certain relationships, you see certain favors, or you see a dominant presence of a particular group more than others, then that shows you right there. And then when you see the money being sent outside of the country to a particular place, that shows you right there too. You know what I'm saying? What infrastructure is this foreign investments are contributing to here, but also what currency is contributing to infrastructure in other places as well.
Absolutely.
So you follow the money, you see these relationships, and then you look at the UN and you see who has a presence on the Security Council, right? Has a permanent presence, and it's mandatory if they make certain decisions for other countries to be obligated to do.
So let me ask you this though. So I find that fantastic that you said that.
Yeah.
But just because money is going a certain place, does it necessarily mean that they have the interest of the people? For example, China is investing a lot of money into Africa, into infrastructure in Africa.
Right.
But do they really care about do they generally care about the interests of the African people? Probably not.
I don't know. Like I said.
Is it their job though?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Is it their
All
job?
right. That's true. That's a good point. Is it their job? That's a great question.
But I also think that there's a possibility that they could be trying to invest in the best interest, but because of the sensitivity, I'm listening. Because of the sensitivity that we have towards trust, right, for not only each other but other people, because we've been done wrong for so long, we have this trauma of being betrayed by so many people plus ourselves.
Correct.
It's not far-fetched for us to ask that question. So it's up to the government that's accepting that aid to do their due diligence and to also make sure when they're negotiating, they put certain things in place to protect themselves. You know what I mean? Why are you leaving the back door open like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so if they're not doing that, and these guys do take advantage of it, whose fault is it? Oh, you're going to say it's the Chinese? No, it's y'all fault. Because you didn't do your due diligence and you left the back door open. Yeah. So it's our responsibility.
You think globalization is a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's affecting the environment. Anything that affects... This is how we can determine whether something is bad or good, right?
When you say globalization, what is that? That sounds like a really big...
it is a vague comment. So... globalization in the sense where, like, for the example, the China example, like they're coming into other places, building infrastructure, and not only that, it may be an influence of culture too. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when certain groups come into certain other countries, you know, they have an influence of culture too. Just like now. We eating Chinese food and we eating all this other shit too. So when these other ethnic groups come into different lands and they're setting up shop, is this a good or bad thing? That's a question I raise. We eating Chinese food. We eating all this bullshit.
Right, but that's not really.
But they don't even eat that. They don't even eat that.
That's not really. That's not really globalization. That's not really globalization. Globalization is when you pretty much take your economy, right, and you remove the infrastructure of that moving economy, and you export it for cheaper labor into other regions of the world that you can source this cheap labor. You see what I'm saying?
So basically like the Nike shops in Indonesia.
Right, the sweatshops, yeah, and wherever around the country. And also a part of globalization too is this destruction of natural habitats like the Brazilian the Amazon rainforest, or in the Philippines with the palm oil trees and these places like that. That will be under the umbrella of globalization. Now, when you have some group coming into a neighborhood or community, that's what we call what? What do we usually say? White people are doing
gentrification.
There you go.
All right, that's interesting. It was hot as a motherfucking here. So you know what?
You can gentrify in a whole entire region. You know that, right? You can. Right. Yeah, a whole entire country, not just
gentrification. That's a whole nother podcast itself too. But
yeah,
you know, I'm gonna end it here though, man.
No doubt.
Yo, man, because listen,
we can go on and on.
We can go on and on. We gotta do this again for sure. So you know what? I'm gonna have this tradition, man. I'm gonna drop this question. I'm gonna drop this question. Okay. This is a tradition that I'm gonna try and implement every episode. If you could talk to God What's the one question that you'll ask it? The higher power. And talk to me, guys.
Oh, wow.
You got one question. Shit, I don't even know the answer to my question, but I want y'all to answer it.
Whoa. What would I ask? Is unconditional love
Real.
a achievable thing amongst the collective? But I know it is probably some individual can have that, but
Yeah, of course.
collectively, is it possible?
Is that something that you would want a collective to have?
course.
Unconditional love?
Of course. Yeah.
I love you no matter what.
That's not what unconditional love is. That's the perception of it. It's for me, my perspective.
Yeah, we about to.
But it's gonna go.
Yeah, I know. Yo,
That's
man,
the question
yo.
I will have. I'm not gonna get in my dialogue.
Yeah, we
Segment right there.
Shit.
But that would be my question. You know, would I want it? Yes, I'll answer your question. Yes, I would. But that would be my question to God.
For me, what does our existence really mean? Why are we here? I think that would be my question.
Issa.
Yeah, we're putting you on the spot. It's hot in this motherfucker right now. I think we should have turned that light off. Shit.
How much of my life is in your hands and how much of my life is free will?
That's a good question.
Lord have mercy. Yes, that is a phenomenal question. That's a question I'm wondering too.
That's a good question.
Merci.
All right.
Damn. So we're gonna wrap it
I
up with
know.
that. Yeah, man. Damn.
All right.
Man,
Indeed.
we had some godly talk today, man. I'm gonna say that, man.
Okay.
Burn all the mics, man, when we leave here, man. Man, burn all these shits. Oh man.
So we can end that right there.
Absolutely.